course of discussing movies, the host will spoil plots. You've been warned. Listen to their screams. Greetings, ghouls and creeps, and welcome to Listen to Their Screams, a horror podcast that feels like you're chatting with friends. I am one of your friends, Dave. We're joined as always by our other friend, Ike. Ike, how are you?
Hey, not doing too bad. You know how it goes. Just chugging along.
That's all we can do. Just keep on chugging. All right. And in our weekly chugging along, this week we are reviewing Best Wishes to All, a new movie that's out there. But before we get there, Ike, did you watch anything else?
Honestly, not a whole lot. Just getting through some other stuff that I had on my list for a while. Nothing horror related. Started watching Reno 911 again. So nothing worthwhile, I don't think.
Okay, well, the only things I watched 28 days later and 28 weeks later in preparation for the new movie. Otherwise, I don't think I watched anything horror related. So, all right then. Well, this episode, we're going to alter things a little bit. We have got so much news and stuff to get through. There's just a slew of things. So we're just going to skip the usual segments and get right to it. So I think I kind of like this, right? That we skip the segments every once in a while. Because I think, you know, doing the cheesy and stuff, I think it kind of gets stale. Sometimes it doesn't provide a lot. So on these, you know, if we got a lot to talk about, we may skip those sometimes. So we're gonna skip those, and we're gonna take a quick break and come right back with just this ton of news, birthdays, and anniversaries. So stick around. Make sure you subscribe to Listen to Their Screams on your favorite podcast platform. Also, make sure you look us up on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, TikTok, and Slasher. All you have to do is look up Listen to Screams. That is Listen, the number 2 in Screams, and you can find us there. Also, make sure you go and buy yourself a Listen to Their Screams t-shirt. You can find all of our shirts at tinyurl.com/Screams Shirts.
Spreading the news. Spreading the news. Spreading the news. And welcome back with the news. All right, so we have a little bit of last minute news. That's going to be the first thing that we talk about because this is pretty sweet, I think. But it is now official. Blumhouse has purchased the rights to Saw franchise previously held by Twisted Pictures, with James Wan and Leigh Whannell being brought back to the team for a significant creative return to the franchise. This is obviously super exciting. James Wan and Leigh Whannell were the OGs. They were there from the beginning, and being able to bring them back in this capacity with Blumhouse is quite literally the dream team. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, me too. And it's again, it's like, I don't know, Saw's the new Scream. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster here lately, you know, with the hearing word that, the next movie is not going to happen. It's just, so you think, okay, well, hopefully there's something else in the pipeline, and this is just not a dropping it for them, you know, and we're going to have to wait a while. So, but obviously, there was other things brewing. So, yeah, this is exciting. And, you know, hey, we'll still get a new Saw movie. And in my opinion, looks like, I mean, I feel like we're in even a better position to get a better Saw movie. So it's pretty psyched.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll keep an eye for that and keep an eye for any news about that. But for now, we will jump to the movie Until Dawn is coming to physical media on July 8th. This is exciting, of course. We always talk about how quick these movies come to streaming. But yeah, it's super exciting to see physical media still being out there, and Until Dawn deserves a physical media release for sure.
Yeah, and yeah, man, horror. I think horror is very, very supportive of physical media. You always see everything getting physical media releases and you know, special updates and what have you. So yeah, it's good. I like it. We've explained many times and had many examples of why physical media is important, right? Certain movies we've talked about that, hey, you can't find them on streaming. Even with all the stuff that's out there, you can't. So, yeah, it's just, it's exciting.
No, absolutely. And like you said, sometimes it's best to have the physical media because you never know when the rides get all funky and then nobody can stream it.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Plus, you get probably the purest version of it, right? No edits for a streaming service or any other thing. If you jump on that physical release when it first happens, you typically get the intended release of it, so version. So
yeah, absolutely. So, but good stuff. Keep an eye out for that on physical media. Pick it up at your local Walmart or Target, perhaps. Moving on now to The Woman in the Yard will be debuting on Peacock on June 27th. Now, this movie went to like a video on demand for a little bit, so it's I'm glad that it has a home on Peacock. This was one of those that we never got around to being able to see, but I'll give it a watch. I'll check it out when it is on streaming.
yeah, me too. It's one of those. I can't remember if it didn't get a very wide release or if we had something else going on. Whatever the case may be, yeah, we didn't review it. So yeah, I'm excited to get to see it.
Absolutely. And then moving on now again to Final Destination Bloodlines is now available video on demand and will be available in physical media July 22nd. Also available that day will be a 6 film collection of the entire franchise. That's pretty exciting as well. Final Destination is, I'm pretty sure it'll eventually be streaming on HBO because I think that's where the rest of them are.
Yeah.
Um, but July seems like a good month for some physical media releases. We got Until Dawn and Final Destination and a 6 film collection, which I never get because there's always going to be another one, and then the next one will be a 7 film collection, and then an 8 film collection. Oh man,
Yeah. I mean, and Final Destination Bloodline is available video on demand now. Um, like you said, so yeah, it'll come to streaming. But yeah, it's here once again. It's nice to see the physical media happening, and yeah, it was a damn good movie. So I advise everybody to go watch it and buy it.
yeah, absolutely. And then we have Mike Flanagan has announced the filming is underway for his Carrie series for Prime Video. We talked a little bit about Carrie has had a shit ton of like really great actors being joined on the project, so super exciting to see that they're actually starting the filming and the production. So I'm sure we'll get more casting updates too, which is really cool.
Yeah, and I'm always a little hesitant on these remakes of older things or whatever else. But I don't know. I like Carrie. I like Mike Flanagan. I like some of the new remakes of Stephen King stuff. It's been a little more a little more in depth than everything else. So it should be fun, and I'm excited to see it. Especially, I mean, Carrie's been remade as a film already, but I'm excited to
Yeah,
see it like this and as a series because, like I said, I think they can do a little more with it. So
absolutely. Like you said, it's been remade a few times, so it'll be interesting to see how the television version, I guess you could say, the TV show version of this will work out. But very good. Moving on to Nika has entered the Terrifier figure business. It will be announced in the lineup on June 23rd. It does look like it includes a Toonie Terror figure as well. So
yeah,
obviously we are huge fans of Terrifier, and we're also huge fans of Terrifier merchandise. Therefore, we are also super excited that Nika is jumping in and making us some Terrifier figures. So that is exciting news. June 23rd, which is just around the corner. So we'll hopefully get some more info about that very soon.
yeah. In their little ad, they showed a couple figures things, and they look good and everything. But yeah, that fact that there's a Toonie Terror. I mean, come on. I love the Toonie Terror figures, and Art's just made for one. I mean, he's very tunatic or whatever the word might be. Yeah, he works, right? I mean, he's very easy to depict in a Toonie Terror. So I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I would definitely agree with that. But good stuff. And moving on to some more, I guess, in the universe, kind of. Fuzz on the Lens Productions has officially announced there will be a Stream 2. It's super exciting. I also saw on the Scream page that they're working on a board game for Stream, and it's based on the hotel that they're in that movie and whatnot. Yeah, it was just a real quick little snippet or a little picture that they showed, but it looked interesting. So Very curious how that comes about. But of course, Stream 2 is exciting. I think pretty much anybody who watched that movie thought there was going to be a part two. So it's just cool to see the official, hey, here is part two. We're going to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even there's even they even have a new graphic and film logo and everything that they put out with it. But yeah, that is exciting about a game because right, it's the movie's about a game, so to speak. So they be very easily adapted over to a board game, and would work. So that's fun. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm super excited. I really like Stream, and it just makes me wonder. I mean, they had so many people in that first one, so it's like, man, who all is going to be in the second one?
I was going to say, with how big the first one is, I can only imagine the second one's going to be even stronger in terms of casting. So, not that the first one was weak in any way, shape, or form, but I think they're going to pull out all the stops. I think they'll have a little more clout to shift around for that next one. So, very good. Moving on now to Cameron Scroggin has been cast in Crystal Lake and will be playing a young Officer Dorff from the original Friday the 13th movie. Also joining the prequel series in unnamed roles is Devin Kessler and Gwendolyn Sundstrom. Obviously, we talked a lot about it. Just over time, we have talked a lot about it. But I'm just very, very curious to see what this is even going to be about because I feel like they haven't really given too much in terms of plot details. So we're just kind of hanging loose, but we know that they're making it, and I guess that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, and the cast is shaping it to be pretty good. And I'm super excited that we're getting a young Officer Dorff. I mean, I like it. There should be some more younger versions of a few characters. And what's the crazy guy's name?
Oh yeah,
I can't remember his name, but surely we'll have some version of him. I mean, they have to. I can't remember what his name is, but
Crazy Ralph.
yeah, Ralph, that's it. So hopefully we get a little version of a Ralph, crazy, or maybe as part of what happens here, maybe it's kind of why Ralph went crazy.
That's what I was gonna say. I wonder if this will be like you said, when he actually turned crazy. But yeah, it's funny because the guy who played him, Walt Gorney, he passed away years ago. It was in 2004. He was like 90 years old. But
Yep.
the way he looks and how I remember from the movie, I'm surely there's got to be someone who looks a little bit like him, but like a little younger.
Yeah.
But it's very cool. We'll have to check that out. But I think that I'm hoping that we'll be pleasantly surprised with some little name drops here and there from the original films, and it'll be a good time, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
Yeah, absolutely. But moving on to Friday the 13th will be a part of Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando and Hollywood this fall. Um, fun fit little thing too is that it is pretty much confirmed, not officially, but based on speculation and people who are crazy. They're going to have some form of Terrifier haunt as well at Halloween Horror Nights. There was some leaked merchandise that had Terrifier on it, so
Ooh.
we'll have to see if that's actually going to happen or if people are just like really crazy. But I'm super excited for this too because Friday the 13th is a classic. But also, there's going to be a Five Nights at Freddy's haunt at Halloween Horror Nights. But also, I'm going to be there. I'm going there in September. So I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good year to go.
I was going to say this is the perfect year to go. We're planning a cruise, and right before the cruise, they're starting Halloween Horror Nights. So I was like, we got to jump on it. We're going to be in Orlando. We have to go. So best money ever spent. But I'm super
That's right.
excited for this. I'll have to, hopefully I'll be able to go and get some pictures and stuff, and we can post them on social media for everybody.
That's right.
Gotta work that social media, but
That's right. On assignment.
on assignment. Hell yeah! But very good. Moving on to our last little bit of news, because like we said, this is a hell of a news week. Reports are saying that Robert Eggers is writing and directing his own adaptation of a Christmas Carol. This only supports our belief that the story is indeed horror. Um, it's interesting. It's an interesting matchup there. I guess for people who don't know, Robert Eggers did like The Witch, Nosferatu, The Lighthouse. He probably did some other stuff, but I think those are his big ones off the top of my head. Um, So I'll be very curious because if this is like a horror Christmas Carol, that would be pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this is one of those things we've talked about before. There's ghosts in it. Come on, that's horror. And for the time, I would suspect this story was very scary and very creepy to tell. So you know, do it up. Let's make it scary. Why not? I mean, there's ghosts and all kinds of stuff. I mean, it's got obviously a happy ending, but still, the journey there can be very horrific.
No, absolutely. So we'll have to check that out because I'll watch. I mean, I love a Christmas Carol just in general, but if it's horror, hell yeah. But all right, good stuff. So that does it for our news. So we're going to jump into our upcoming birthdays. June 22nd, 1958, the man, the myth, the legend, the king, Bruce Campbell. Hail to the king, baby.
Boomstick.
That's right. Love Bruce Campbell. I mean, Evil Dead, Maniac Cop, and literally nothing else that I can think of off the top of my head other than Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. He was in that.
He's been in other things, I'm sure, but obviously he's Ash. That's what most
Yeah,
people know him as. He loves it. He's ingrained in the Evil Dead, right? Him and Rainey are kind of at the helm of it, and it's great. I mean, it is. I love seeing because I'm all the time coming across little clips of him at like conventions, doing panels, and he's just hilarious. He's so funny, and he's just great, man. What a great guy to have as a part of the horror culture.
absolutely. It's truly a blessing that Bruce Campbell did Evil Dead, and then he continued to do stuff for Sam Raimi. Because God knows that Sam Raimi just really loves him and wants him to be in everything he does.
That's right.
But hell yeah. But moving on to June 25th, 1975, Linda Cardellini, known for her roles, of course, in things like Freaks and Geeks, but also things like Scooby Doo, Curse of the La Llorona, and the Crystal Lake franchise that we are about to embark on very soon. Um, I love her in Scooby Doo. I think Scooby Doo, those two movies are entry level horror movies. So I think it's a
Mm,
really cool concept for kids to watch because it's not super scary, but it's a little scary.
sure, yeah. And she was perfect, right, as Velma.
Yep.
And I mean, she was again the movie was cast perfect, but yeah, she was great in it, and yeah, I can't wait to see her in Crystal Lake.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's going to be epic, I'm sure, because she has the acting chops to do whatever. Um, but very good. We're going to jump now to our upcoming movie anniversaries. We even have a bunch of these. June 19th, 1954, we have them with an exclamation point. I
Uh-huh.
can't say that I've ever seen them with an exclamation point. I know it is about
Uh,
monsters, isn't it?
yeah, giant ants.
Oh hell yeah,
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Everybody should watch it. One of the very early creature feature, giant ants. Very cool, very fun. I advise everybody to give it a watch.
yeah, absolutely. It's a very good time. I'll have to check it out because I like eight-legged freaks and stuff like that. So I mean, I'm sure I'll like them. But all right, jumping now to June 20th, 1975, we have Jaws.
Uh-huh.
Fun fact, my wife Kayla, she actually watched Jaws for the first time recently. She works at the library. I think I mentioned that before. She does a horror movie club one Friday a month, and they get varying degrees of participation because of the area that they're in. But she showed Jaws this last time that she did it, and she said it wasn't too bad. She's like, for an old movie, it wasn't too bad, which is a pretty glowing praise from a person who normally doesn't watch movies from years from prior to when she was born. So
But first of all, it's a fucking amazing movie. It is an incredible movie. Probably one of, if not the best creature type movies of all time. Second of all, this movie was made the same year I was born, so it can't be called old. Because if that's old, that means I'm old, and I ain't having that shit. This
well, I hate to
this
break it to you.
this movie this movie is eternal.
Yeah, yeah,
As am I.
celebrating its 50th year, as are you, I suppose.
Not
So
yet. I'm not there yet. So
he's
I'm
not there quite.
49.
Oh man, yeah, I agree. I think Jaws is one of those movies that will stand the test of time. Just generally speaking, I think that movies like that have a pretty solid purpose in terms of like the zeitgeist of horror. Right? There's this sort of like spiritual thing about horror, and Jaws is at the base of it, as are all the classics.
Yes.
So absolutely, I agree. I like Jaws. I haven't seen it in a while actually. It's been at least 3 years, but
Well,
maybe I'll
now's
have
the
to.
time to watch it. It's 50 years old.
I was gonna
So
say
it's time for a rewatch.
it's ancient. I gotta watch it, right? I kid. I'm gonna move on before I get bitch slapped through the phone.
That's right.
June 21st, 2019, we have Child's Play. This was the remake with Aubrey Plaza.
Yep.
And it was good. It was all right. It wasn't the exact same, you know, as the others. But
Yeah.
it was all right. That's all I can say about it.
Eh.
It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen.
No, not the worst. It's okay, but it's not the original.
It's just not.
And
Like I said,
I love Aubrey Plaza. Don't get me wrong, but I'll take the original anytime.
no, absolutely. I 100% take the OG over this one, or
Even,
really any of the Chucky movies.
yeah, pretty much me too. Even Chucky looks weird in this one. You alter his look like that, and it just I don't care how good you do it, it's still going to probably look weird because it's different. Let me get this one didn't really look good, but yeah, I don't know. It is what
So,
it is, I guess. It's out there. It was made.
it was, and I do have one issue with this movie that I just have to mention. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Mark Hamill, but they brought Mark Hamill on to do the voice of Chucky when
Yes.
quite literally they probably could have got Brad Dourif for cheaper. Um, because Brad Dourif just does it for the love of the game at this point. So like, I mean, literally, Brad Dourif is right there. Why the fuck did you cast Mark Hamill? No offense to Hamill, I love Mark Hamill. He's a great Joker. He's a great Luke Skywalker. He's great at everything he does. But why the fuck did you not just get Brad Dourif to do the goddamn voice in a movie with this budget?
That's what I'm saying. That's I don't know. No matter what you're doing with it, you should not have really changed the look of Chucky that much or the voice of Chucky. Those two things should just be they should be seamless through all the movies. Um, they should just they should not alter. I don't care if you're remaking or not, but what the
Yeah,
hell do I know?
I was gonna say what do we know? But I agree. But anywho, moving on to our next little anniversary here. This is a good one though. June 24th, 2022. Black Phone. Love Black Phone. I am super excited for Black Phone 2. I need to rewatch Black Phone 1 because got to be prepared for 2 later this year. I love it. Black Phone is one of those movies that I was not expecting, but I was super happy with.
Yeah, it's one of those. Hell, I didn't even know what to expect. It's like, what is this? What's it about? Couldn't tell what. Yeah, it was a great movie, and yeah, especially given the trailer we've seen, Black Phone 2 looks like it's gonna just carry right along.
Hell yeah. Can't beat it. Black Phone 2, Electric Boogaloo. Um, but we're
I,
gonna move
I
on now.
I'd be
Oh,
down for some breakdancing.
I was gonna say throwing some breakdancing. Ethan Hawke's like the what is his name? The Grabber, right?
Yeah, the
Have have
only thing this movie's missing.
is it breakdancing serial killer?
Hmm.
Hell yeah! But moving on to June 25th, 1976, The Omen. We actually talked about The Omen 2 not too long ago because we were talking about sequels and it got brought up. But The Omen's obviously another classic. It exists at the soul of the supernatural genre for sure. So can't say much else about it. I love it.
Yeah, great movie, and I will stand by again. Overall, the Omen franchise I think is very underappreciated. Overall, I will always stand by that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's four movies, and I think they're all pretty damn good.
I can't speak for the latter three, but I do like the first one a lot. So I have it on my list to watch the remakes and whatnot because they're we were talking about it literally just the other day, and you're like, "Hey, you need to add that to your list." So it
That's
is
right.
in my list.
There you go. Let's see. It's I like them.
Absolutely. That and the Exorcist sequels. I think you told me to watch those as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are pretty fun too.
There you go. So, but all right, moving on to June 25th, 1982, we have The Thing. Love The Thing. The Thing is one of the best monster movies I think that you could ever watch. I think it is timeless, which you can't say about a lot of movies, but I think that this movie still holds up pretty good. It's a John Carpenter film. You have your good old friend Kurt Russell in there, as well as some other folks, but Kurt Russell specifically is like one of the big main characters, I think.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, the thing's great. I love the effects.
Yeah, I mean, again, kind of going back to Jaws. I mean, this movie to me is just it's perfect as is. Just such a great movie. It is one of those that I feel anybody that says they love horror should have to watch it. It's like a prereq that you gotta watch it. It's such a good movie, but or you should watch it. Let me put it that way.
Absolutely, I know. I agree. It should be on your list. There's a lot of movies. There should be required watching for
That's
for
right.
horror fans trying to get into the genre for sure. But good stuff. But that does it for our movie anniversaries. We have a few releases that we got to talk about, so nothing too crazy, and then we can jump into our review. But starting us off with our releases, Silent Night, Deadly Night is coming to theaters on December 12th. I about said June 12th. That's past. We are past June 12th. But December 12th, and it is described as a child witnesses his parents murdered by a man in a Santa suit. Years later, he dons a Santa costume himself and embarks on a violent quest for retribution. So this does worry me slightly because the original Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, he's not seeking retribution in the original movie. He just gets like Vietnam flashbacks and starts killing people, right?
Um, yeah, I mean, there's not like really anybody specifically that he's targeting, but he sees the Santa thing, and yeah, when he like grows up and he Santa makes him uneasy, and he has to dress up as Santa, and it kind of triggers him. It flips a switch, and yeah, I mean, there's other things that trigger too, but yeah, it's not like he's not like seeking the people that killed his parents. That's not why he does it. It's not like you know Santa Batman where he's like don the suit and I'll seek vengeance for my fallen parents. It didn't really
Right.
happen that way, but I don't know. So it's I don't know. It's a description. Maybe it's just worded. It's not worded well. Maybe hopefully, it's got what's his name, Rowan Campbell in it as Billy,
Yeah.
which
Oh yeah.
he'll do good. So I mean, I'm excited. I'll obviously I'm looking forward to give it a chance. But I'm hoping that this just the description is just a little off, maybe.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm hoping. And yeah, it's Rowan Campbell and also Pam. No, not Pamela. Ruby Modine, who's from the Happy Death Day to Me movies.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I think it's interesting because, like you said, I'm concerned about the description purely because of the word retribution. So I will try not to read too much into that until we actually see the movie because to me, it makes it scarier when he is just killing to kill versus killing for a purpose. And this makes it seem as if there's a purpose, which perhaps there is, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I will
I mean,
withhold judgment.
any remake makes me nervous. Um, I don't know. I love the original so much that I don't know. I don't feel that a remake is necessary, but it has been a long time, and there might be, a way to tell it will make it worthwhile. But I don't know. Just remakes make me antsy to begin with.
True story. Remakes are a mixed bag, as it were. So we will withhold full judgment, but until then, keep an eye out for hopefully a trailer pretty soon. I would say we're about 6 months out, so in the near future for this movie. But good stuff. Moving on now to Violent Night 2. It's coming to theaters on December 4th, 2026, with no description available yet. So, Violent Night, of course, is the Santa Claus badassery that was David Harbour's movie, where he basically just fucks up a bunch of criminals who are, breaking into a family compound on Christmas Eve, and Santa Claus basically goes in and cleans house. So, good times. I like the first one, but it kind of borders whether or not it's an actual horror movie, though. Is kind of what I would say.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure when we watched it, we're like, I don't know if this is a horror as much as it's just a wild ass action movie, but it's okay. It was still a fun movie, and I'll watch it. I don't know. We'll see whether we review it because again, like I said, I don't think I'd classify the first one as a horror movie. I think it was just a super violent action movie. I mean, just because there's blood and kills doesn't make it horror. But
exactly,
we'll see.
We shall see. But good stuff. We'll keep an eye out for any information about that. But last things last, we have 28 Years Later comes to theaters June 20th, and is described as a group of survivors of the rage virus lives on a small island. When one of the group leaves the island on a mission into the mainland, he discovers secrets, wonders, and horrors that have mutated not only the infected, but other survivors. And this will be what we're reviewing next episode. Dave and I are very, very big fans of the 28 Years Later film, or 28 just later films, days, weeks, years,
whatever.
what the fuck. And we're super excited for this. And I also heard that they did officially announce that there will be another movie called 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple, that's coming out next year.
Oh, okay.
So it's expected January of 2026 is what the current expected release date of the next movie is. And right now it has casted Ralph Fiennes. So I'm excited to see what he can do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently he's in this movie too, actually. Let me take that back. So
I mean, there's a lot of extended stuff out there. I believe there's comics and all kinds of stuff for this. So, and there are some rip off type movies. Because as I was looking to watch one of them, doing the old search function on the TV, there is a 28 months later that someone else made that has nothing to do with this. and stuff like that. So you got to be careful if you're trying to watch the entire franchise. But prior to this, there are only 2 official movies. So.
Oh man, people crack me up. But good stuff. Yeah. You have 28 days later, and then 28 weeks later, and then now, of course, 28 years later, and then, like you said, there's some other miscellaneous things in the in the interim, like some comics and stuff. Pretty sure someone even made a video game, I think, of some sort. But cool. Well, all right, that does it. We made it through. That was a hell of a jaunt. I don't know how long that was, but we did it. We made it through it. We made it through all the news, birthdays, anniversaries, and upcoming releases. So what we will do now is we will take a quick breath, a reprieve, and when we come back, we will have our official review of Best Wishes for All. To all, my bad. Stick around.
Hey, Bruiser buddies, I want you to listen to Wrestling Nostalgia with Dave Dynasty. Every week, he has the roughest and toughest interviews in the podcast world today, with the best guests you could ask for. There's no bums on this show. Let Dave Dynasty be your podcasting tag team partner and listen to Wrestling Nostalgia while drinking beer, smoking cigars, and busting heads. Just look it up on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe today, because the Bruiser said so.
Hey ho, everybody. Subscribe to the Pinhead Pod, the Ramones fan podcast, bringing you interviews, news, deep dives, and much more. Look it up on your favorite podcast platform. That is Pinhead Pod. All right, and welcome back to Listen to the Screams. Like Ike said, it is review time, and we are going to review Best Wishes to All, which, let's see, this movie is what, Ike? Is that Shudder? I'm shooting a blank. Yeah, just came out in Shudder. Let me pull up some information because I didn't put it in the notes. And I am going to butcher some names here. We know that up front because I butcher easy names, but whatever. The movie was written by Arimi Kaikuta and Yuta Shimotsu, excuse me. Directed by Yuti Shimotsu. Starring, I can't read this. Masashi Arafuku. It's starring some people. I'm sorry. I'm not going to try because I am horrible at names and I don't want to dishonor them. This movie is a Japanese film. Like we said, available on Shudder now. It is subtitled, which, here's my thing. I don't mind foreign horror and everything else. I'm just I'm not a subtitle guy. I don't know. There's something about it. It's like, I don't want to read my movies. And, so, sometimes that takes me out of the element a little bit. But I did really, really enjoy this movie because this movie was fucking eerie and creepy as fuck. And, everybody in it did a really, really good job of putting that creepy shit in there. And, just the things they did, some of the mannerisms, some of the actions, you have to kind of watch the movie. I'm not going to say any of it. Because I'm not even, I can't even explain what the movie's about because I'm afraid that gives too much away. But there is obviously, like the description says, a girl who goes off to university in Tokyo, then she comes back home on a vacation or a break to visit, and uncovers some weird ass stuff happening, and some dark things happening within her family. Well, I guess pretty much in her entire village, or town. But everybody was really, really good in this movie at playing these very, very creepy parts. Just things. It made you uneasy without relying on lots of blood and guts or cringy type kills. That a lot of movies now, they use that to make you uneasy and unsettled. This didn't. This really relied more on the acting. It relied more on the circumstances, the things happening, the timing to give it. And it worked, right? It's like there was, to me, a lot of uneasy scenes where it's like if you were within that scene, that happening, it would really it would unsettle you, make you feel very uncomfortable to be in that moment. I'm not big on subtitle films, but I really enjoyed this. I thought it was a fun movie. If you're going to give a shot to a foreign horror movie, this is not a bad one to dive into and to watch. If you're not, super into them, this one works. I think people would enjoy it. So, Ike, what did you think of Best Wishes to All?
Absolutely. I think one of the best things about horror just in general is when you can do good ambience. And I think that this movie did a fantastic job of setting the ambience and creating a very creepy atmosphere. Japanese horror specifically, sometimes does fall victim to the, like you said, sometimes subtitled films from Japan do sometimes have that issue where, people here don't really like subtitles all that much. Some people don't. But at the very least, we're willing to sit down and watch a subtitled movie. Some people aren't, which I find very weird to me, that somebody would miss out on a movie completely because it doesn't have, or you have to read subtitles, which is silly to me. But in terms of the movie, it set a really good, ambience straight from the get-go. It was creepy from scene one, in my opinion. The limited but very real music that kind of was playing throughout it, the sounds, the spookiness, the noises that these people sometimes made. I won't specify what kind of noises, but the people did make some noises that were kind of weird and caught me off guard at certain parts. And like you said, the whole town being impacted by this, and or village, I should say. But also, I think that this has a really interesting message about like trauma, right? Because the movie kind of starts out with like a little bit of like, what's the word I'm looking for? A little bit of exposition about like what to expect, if you will, and it just gets weirder as the movie goes on. I can't fully say that I understood why this was happening. Perhaps there was not an explanation for why.
Yeah.
I typically like having that explanation of why things are happening, but I understand that sometimes you don't get a why, right? It just
Yeah.
happens. And perhaps that's part of the horror, is that we don't know why the fuck this is happening.
And we've said
So,
that, hey, a movie doesn't need to explain everything else. It's okay to
right.
just leave, right? Would explaining a why make the movie any better? Probably not. Just so it's okay to let it be.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I would definitely agree with that. But I think that the other really great thing about this movie is that it has sort of that relatable, like, gaslighting in a way. Like, the
Oh
main
yeah,
character basically is getting gaslighted by everybody, right? They're all just like, oh, it's fine. You know, what we're not going to, I'm not going to spoil anything for you. But it almost gets frustrating, the level to which she gets gaslighted throughout this film. Um, and it's just weird how everybody just sort of conforms and just says, you know what, this is normal. Um, and yeah, it's wild to me. I do think the one thing that I think that I don't understand about this movie, that perhaps is sort of the cultural divide, is I feel as if there is some sort of like urban legend or like folklore behind this, like like a mass hysteria type thing that like I'm not understanding because I'm not from this region. That's the only thing. So I'll have to do some research and kind of see maybe if there's like some sort of like subtext that could help explain what was going on. But otherwise, fantastic. Very enjoyed it. Love the atmosphere. I'm just, again, always surprised pleasantly by what Shudder offers.
yeah, yeah. Me too. And the fact that they're willing to put something like this up there, a movie that it would be very difficult for us to get to watch. Right? Obviously, this is not getting a theatrical release anywhere where we're at or anything else. So it's one of the great things about these streaming services, bringing us movies of all sorts that we typically would not be able to watch. So, all right, then let's just move on and let's rate this thing. Again, I really enjoyed the movie. But I'm just going to give it. I'm just going to give it that standard 3 out of 5, right in the middle. Very enjoyable. But nothing so groundbreaking that I felt like I had to climb to the rooftop and shout it to the world. But it was very fun, and I did enjoy it. So I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Absolutely. I think that I would probably be right there with you. I think that this was an enjoyable movie. I would go back and watch it. I don't think that it was um, super duper revolutionary in its in its presentation. I think that it was a fun, interesting story. And perhaps I would go back and rewatch it, and maybe my score would change. I don't know. But I think a 3 out of 5 is fair. I think it is a good movie, and I'd recommend everybody watches it. And it's also funny because this movie came out in 2022, and we are now able to watch it because it's on Shudder 3 years later. So big kudos to Shudder for continuing to bring movies to us. Like you said, we would probably not watch otherwise.
That's right, absolutely. It's a good. There are positives of the world we live in, and this is one of them. So, all right, before we get out of here, thank you to the wives, the listeners, and the followers for all of your support in everything that we do. Please be sure to subscribe to us, on social media. We're on pretty much all the platforms. Just search for it, listen to their screams, or just listen the number 2 in screams, and you will find us. We buzzed right through this. Like I said, I kind of like switching it up, not doing just the segments, so that it's not stagnant, especially when we have plenty of news to talk about, and because the news section always tends to be the longest segment because we get chatting about all the news points. So when we have lots of news, it's best to maybe drop some of the rest of that out so that we're not doing a 2-hour episode. I think that's a bit. Who's going to listen to us for 2 hours? So we're going to stick to an hour and just hopeful that people will give us that. So no, I kid. But anyway, before we get out of here, Ike, anything else you want to add?
Oh man, I just want to say I'm actually really excited for the 28 Years Later movie. I'm super stoked for it. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but I'm very excited for it. I feel like I've waited a long time for a sequel to those movies, and it's finally here. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. We talk about some franchises where it's like we feel like they're constantly making movies and we're constantly talking about them and everything else, and then there's a movie like this where it's like, I don't know, you don't think about it because it's been a while. They made a couple movies, and you almost think, oh well, maybe that's it. And then alas, here we are. And yeah, just everybody out there, be careful. Don't get any of the infected blood on you and fall victim to the rage virus because it's not a good thing. You're not gonna. But obviously, actually, if there were a rage virus, that would explain lots of things in the world. But so all right, so everybody go watch 28 Years Later in theaters, and then go watch Best Wishes to All on Shudder. And we'll see you back here next episode. For Ike, I'm Dave. That's it. Wherever you go and whatever you do, be good, be safe, and have many pleasant nightmares.